Isn't it a lovely day to walk in Hatfield Forest? That someone's been busy here. Oh look, notice. Oh yeah, we welcome you to watch and work. Oh yes. And now look, oh there's a safety warning notice. Not seen one of those before. National Trust Coppicing volunteers. Haven't heard of them. If you'd like to learn more about Coppicing, do not work here. Someone? Oh look, there's someone.
Hello, I'm Bob Reed, the leader of the Coppicing volunteers. Would you like me to give you a quick guided tour?
Yes, please.
Follow me then. Coppicing means cutting the smaller trees or underwood down to ground level and leaving the taller trees as what we call standards. It's the way the forest has been managed for generations, and what we do is essentially restoring the woodland to how it would have looked in medieval times.
What are all these round things for?
Well, they're what we call baskets, which we build around the stumps to stop the deer from browsing the new shoots.
So let's get this right. You cut down a perfectly good tree and then have to protect it stop it from dying?
Yes, by doing this we can get the tree to regenerate at least 2 metres in the first year. In the old days, if you wanted to cook your food or heat your home, you got wood from the forest. Timber in the form of oak beams came from the forest for buildings, and the wattle for wattle and daub were the thin split hazel rods used for constructing walls. To keep in your cattle, pigs and sheep, you needed fencing, and this was why the forests would have been so important in the local economy.
This looks a real mess here.
Yeah, this is what happens if the forest is not managed. Hazel is not a long-lived tree, but coppicing rejuvenates it, making it a wholly sustainable way of managing the woodlands. If you stand here and look round, you'll see what a contrast it is between the area that's not been coppiced and the area we've cut. Just look how much the light and air gets let into the coppice, and how things all spring into life again. There are some very old coppice stools here. These large ones were cut about 400 years ago, just showing you how long the process has been going on for. What a contrast.
It's amazing.
Now let's meet some of the guys.
Hello there. You look rather busy. Looks rather fun.
That's lovely.
The way it works is that the sawsman cuts the tree down and then cuts it into 2 metre lengths of what we call cordwood.
It's very precise work then.
Yeah, the cordwood is stacked on piles and is used mostly for firewood. A cord of firewood is traditionally 8 feet long by 4 feet wide by 4 feet high.
Do they get any training for this?
Yeah, health and safety training is given right at the start.
Why are they shaping up those poles and putting points on them then?
Well, those poles are going to be driven into the ground, and they form the basis for the framework for the baskets which will protect the stumps.
Gosh, that looks strenuous, doesn't it?
Yeah, they have to be driven in strongly because they've got to last for several years.
Do you?
And once that's been done, then the brash is used to weave around to make the basket to protect the stump.
It's quite dangerous then when you're cutting these trees where there's people.
Yeah, that's the reason that he blows his whistle when he's about to fell the tree.
Good idea. So all sorts of people can work here.
Yes, everyone's welcome to come and try coppicing, but what we do say is that children under the age of 16 must be accompanied by an adult. This second group are working in an area which is more scrub, and they are creating new coppice stools by enclosing several stumps at one time.
Oh, what's happened here? Who's cut this great big tree down?
Well, this is a standard oak that's been felled by members of the staff, and this is how it can be cut up into boards and beams.
It must be very old.
Not that old, not as old as you might expect. Here's some more forest products. These are pea sticks, brushwood bundled up for use as pea sticks or for use in the garden. And here are long straight hazel poles which can also be used for all sorts of craft purposes or for use in the garden. Here are the hand tools we use then.
I recognise a few of those.
The first one is a small triangular bow saw which is most useful. The second one is a bill hook, a very ancient tool used for dealing with the brash. And everybody that comes must wear a hard hat for obvious reasons. You have to be careful when using the bow saw, and it's absolutely essential you wear thick leather gloves, because without that you may well have an accident when the bow saw may run up your hand like this.
Surely this must frighten away all the wildlife.
On the contrary, it encourages all wildlife to thrive. In the first year after coppicing, lots of seeds germinate. Then it goes into what we call the grassy phase. At the end of this, brambles appear, and the coppice then becomes really dense and impenetrable. The baskets have rotted away by now, but they have done their job. And then finally, about 12 years or so after coppicing, the trees have grown enough to start shading out the vegetation underneath. One of the real success stories is the reappearance of the silver-wash fritillary, which is now quite common in the forest. It's almost certainly reappeared as a result of coppicing.
Are there little creatures living under this rubbish pile?
Yes, it's what we call an eco-pile, good for reptiles, amphibians, beetles and a lot more besides.
Gosh, that's a lovely fire.
Yes, we always have lunch at about 12:30 and make it a bit of a social occasion.
Yes, I had better be
Are you all
getting back to
enjoying your
get
lunch?
mine. By the way, one last question before I go. What does coppicing mean to you?
Well, what does coppicing mean to me as an individual? Well, I mean, I think I speak for the whole group when I say that it's a great opportunity for us to get out and work in the forest in the fresh air. We like the idea that we're continuing the tradition of generations, and we know that we're improving the habitat for wildlife. We also like the cycle of the seasons. You know, we start in October with the autumn months and the autumn colours, going through the rather drab winter months, and then the coming of the spring by the time we finish in March. Then we've got our summer barbecue in July and the Woodfest in September, and so the year goes round. Yeah, we always tire ourselves out. We often get wet and we often get muddy, but we all thoroughly enjoy ourselves. If you'd like to come and join us in coppicing in Hatfield Forest, then the contact details will be found at the end of this film.
Thank you for showing me about coppicing today. It's been amazing how you manage the woodland, and so successfully as well.
It's been a pleasure. Hopefully you can join us one day.
Oh, it will be soon, I'm sure.
Well, bye for now.